On March 20th, 2007, my life radically changed to a point of no return. It was the release date of STALKER, Shadow of Chernobyl. I read all about it in gaming magazines. Amazing AI system, scary monsters, wondrous artifacts, extreme gun porn, immersive atmosphere, and it was all true. All of it. I waited for this game like Hachiko the dog waited for his owner. And despite this game being a bugged mess at launch, I spent many a night playing this game when I should be sleeping, causing my academics to fall drastically. I wasn't a school student anymore. No, I was a stalker. And who gives a crap about real life when you have an epic action RPG sandbox experience with artifact hunts and stash scavenging? All of that was way more appealing to me. I couldn't stop playing this game. It resonated with me. It talked to me like it was the wish granter whispering its secrets to me, and I listened to it like a charmed snake. Day after day, I came back like a battered housewife, swearing to myself that this will be the last time I play this mess, because things were getting a little out of control in real life, and the fact that the game kept crashing to desktop didn't help either. But don't worry about me. I'm fine. Graduated. Could stand to lose a few kilograms, but other than that, I'm grateful for STALKER to happen in my life. But all that was in the past. So what happened next? The next chapter of that story takes place in 2025 instead of 2007, where once upon a game a teenage me was truly happy in his moments of solitude away from the hostile environment of his school and clueless parents who didn't know any better. Many other teenagers also shared that sentiment, possibly also grew up in broken household and were looking for a creative outlet, but see, they were smarter than me, more willing to bend the rules of the game in their favor, which resulted in the absolute bombastic explosion of modding community of STALKER series. One such mod dominates the scene today, serving, as many people would call it, the definitive way to experience STALKER. But is that really true? Let's take out an artifact detector, eat some canned meat, and prepare to throw some bolts into the anomaly that is this mode. Let's begin. STALKER has always had a special place in the hearts of gamers. The worldwide phenomenon of slav jank didn't start with this game per se, but it definitely grew in popularity with STALKER, which was, by all means, a great game plagued with serious problems. It had a terrible launch, akin to Fallout 76, and was later patched to infinity, officially and unofficially. And guess what? It was still not perfect, but good enough for people to lose themselves into the wonderful apocalyptic world of the zone. And then something incredible happened. People started dissecting the game apart, unearthing old fossils of cut content and starting adding their ideas to a myriad of mods that now occupied the scene. Now the zone was busier than ever, with endless customizations, add-ons, plugins, modifications, and even complete overhauls of the game itself. Fueled by a Diet Coke and pizza, these people tinkered with a game that was a mess at launch, but just like fixing an old minivan you bought for a song of Craigslist, with your elbow grease and boundless young adult energy, this thing is about to have its second wind. It's true, the original X-Ray engine was incredibly buggy and crashed every time you were forgetting you had a CTD in the last 10 to 20 minutes. It was infuriating, bloated mess that was made on a shoestring budget and was kept together with rubber bands, spit, and a programming effort of people who got paid with Polish cigarettes instead of dollars. It's absolutely true that STALKER is one of those games with a vibrant modding scene, and Anomaly is rightfully one of the most comprehensive and popular modifications of them all. It's an excellent deal any which way you look at it. You don't need base games to play it, you just download it and presto, there's your Anomaly. The flip side is... there's no flip side. It is a wholesome modification that combines all three STALKER games, restores cut content, and brings in ideas that didn't make in the final release of the game. The design philosophy of the original STALKER is there, but amped up to 11. The developmental concepts of the OG trilogy were put into the games of a clearly passionate community and tinkered with great care, for Anomaly doesn't feel like STALKER on speed or on steroids. Instead, it somehow feels like the ultimate STALKER experience. How come? Okay, so in Anomaly, we play a game that combines count 'em, three titles: Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, and Call of Pripyat. Just like with Total Warhammer, their three maps now form one gigantic mega map that you can explore, snoop around, and die a violent death in. For that is the will of the zone. Only the fittest will survive. And fittest indeed. With a custom fork of its X-ray engine called Monolith, Anomaly can be rightfully called the most stable experience of the STALKER trilogy. It is a pity that the most optimized version of the game eluded the developers for so long that it was ultimately the fans who made one version that was better. Truly, the students have become the masters. If you want to do the math, then I can tell you that there are over 4,000 add-ons for Anomaly that were created by other players to change the experience in more advanced ways. I mean, if you're still not convinced, I'm just gonna tell you this. Anomaly is 64-bit X-ray engine with no lags, no crashes to desktop, 4,000 plus added modifications and improved textures. Do I really need to tell you more? Such is the combined effort of Anomaly developers. I always treasured Total Overhaul mods ever since I played Morrowind, because I knew that if you give the game to its fans, they won't suck the fun out of the game, contrary to some people's opinion, but they will do the opposite. They'll breathe in a new life in the rotting husk of a game that was released too early, or didn't have enough developers behind it, or simply was too much of a grand design to be recreated in real life. But with fans like these, your game is in the right hands, no doubt about that. And who knows, maybe STALKER 2 will see its Anomaly-like transfiguration. One can only hope. The way I see it, Anomaly does STALKER differently than GSC devs did. Let me explain. Original STALKER didn't prioritize survival and sandbox elements. I mean, they were present, but they never took the center of the stage. Oh no, the spotlight was given to the story and sporadic shootouts you might have had with bloodsuckers, monolith soldiers, and bandits. Indeed, you combed the zone from south to north, following the trail of poorly written main quests and looting artifacts while on the go. And all of that worked, except it didn't feel like we did the zone proud. Doesn't that sound too arcadey? Too on the rails? Too much of a tunnel vision? Many people started questioning this logic, creating their own tactical survival mods, like Misery, Call of Chernobyl, and many others. But Anomaly took it a step further. How about, the devs said, we take all of the locations from all three games and cut ones as well, and then we create one big sandbox, allow the player to choose the preferred faction, and update all the technical parts to make this experience streamlined, bug-free, and finally without crashing to desktop after every minute or so. And then we just let the player loose on this giant playground and you yourself come up with reasons to explore the zone. Now, what do you say? Are you in or out? Boy, I was in so deep that the person who'll pull me out can be crowned King Arthur. Jokes aside, the number of downloads for this mod can speak for itself. People are crazy about it, so much in fact that it actually became a point of entry in the series for many gamers. And after playing other installments of STALKER, even the sequel, they usually crawl back for more. The reason is simple. With Anomaly, you can forget about crashing to desktop, customize your foray into the zone to your liking, pick the faction you enjoy playing the most, and on top of that, it also had main storyline quests in case you get bored with endless exploration. So, what can you possibly do in Anomaly? Well, it offers us a little bit of everything, really. Although a little bit is an understatement of the year. Here we go. Faction War mode will let you see some serious firefights and epic clashes between your faction and the enemy. Your whole playthrough is focused around making your faction the winner in this free-for-all battle royale style skirmishes. There is nothing like clearing an entire base of enemies while protecting your favorite guys from stray bullets. Moving on. Next we have a semi-static sandbox where you play the role of just one guy who's in the zone for life. A life is greatly improved, so the chances of getting into memorable situations are higher than ever. What's your goal? Who knows, maybe it's Wanderlust, hunt for artifacts, getting a better gear, or making pilgrimage to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This is what I play all day every day. I can't get enough of this mode, because with Anomaly's improved A-Life and its dynamic factions relations and ever-changing locations of anomalies, the zone feels like it was giving a new lease on life. But what else is there? Oh well, you know, only the most brutal Iron Man mode for the most hardcore people among us. A single bullet is all it takes to send you into the past tense. Now, are you bad enough dude to play this mode? Or how about roleplay? Not the sex kind. Leave your stockings and cat ears at the door. I am talking about assuming control of a freedom dude, or a duty soldier, or monolith sex slave, or a cold-blooded merc, and fulfilling your tasks the way they're meant to be done. You can't just chill at the base, or become a guide for stalkers, or the most ruthless bounty hunter, or a hapless scavenger, or a bandit that drops stalkers at night. The works. The zone is your oyster. Ooh, there's also a zombie mode where there are endless swarms of Zeds closing in on your location, but I actually never tried it, to be honest. But it's there, waiting for you to get in on it. The customization menu at the start of the game ensures we have a tailor-made experience of the zone. You can adjust virtually everything. Damage modifiers, spawn rates, fast travel options, squad behavior, and all the traits of the zone itself. All that and more can be changed for your gaming pleasure. Nearly every fan of S.T.A.L.K.E.R would be pleased with this total overhaul of their favorite game. Because it has something for everyone, from the embittered fans who lost any hope to play a stable version of the game, to newcomers who are seeking the right way it's meant to be played. I'll be honest with you, Anomaly's biggest strength is also its most glaring weakness, namely, the gameplay loop. But that can be said about any title really, be it RimWorld, Dwarf Fortress or Minecraft. Anomaly is absurdly impressive with what it tries to give us. An authentic, stable, complex, bespoke S.T.A.L.K.E.R experience one can possibly find on the market. Everything a S.T.A.L.K.E.R game should have, from hunger and sleep mechanic, random blowouts, impressive gunplay and weapon maintenance system, a live world, and atmosphere where you're afraid to leave the camp at night. It's all there, in its full radioactive glory. There is one monumental nemesis that stands tall and overshadows every playthrough you're going to do. Namely, an extraordinarily complicated crafting/repairing system. I'll be honest with you, the first 100 hours of gameplay I didn't even know there was one. Same with cooking, really. Then I decided not to bother myself with it because I abhor all that is needlessly complex. But then, well, you know, I decided to challenge myself and make something out of it. I was like a monkey who was given a hammer and nails for the first time in its life. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. But then it just clicked. And let me tell you, the feeling of upgrading or making your own gun out of spare parts and scrap is amazing. But if that thing is not for you, then by all means you can disregard it and just fix your guns at mechanic shop, and that be the extent of your familiarity with the accursed system. You don't need to engage yourself in something you don't want to, and that's the beauty of Anomaly. It is made of different sets of sliders and checkboxes. You can adjust and choose the right way to fire up this baby. Tweak the economy so that you get more rewards for quests. Change the spawn rate of artifacts or people so that the zone would feel more vibrant, more alive. The zone is eager for you to play with its settings. It is like bonding with a horse. It's going to be a rough start, sure, but after a while you'll be buddies for life. And it's the greatest feeling ever, god damn it. So join me in this bonding experience in Anomaly. Coming back to the gameplay loop though, I can safely say that you can do anything in this world. Live the life of a fearless stalker, or a scavenger, or a hitman, or a guide, or a collector. Baby, you can take any shape and form, because the gameplay got you covered. Never before have I seen such a vast array of roles you can easily assume in an action RPG game. I've never seen a game so flexible and so eager to please. Because usually, there's one way that is the way in a game, and everything else comes off as something secondary, an afterthought, if you will. But not here, not in Anomaly. You can explore underground laboratories in search of lost equipment and artifacts for money, or you can eat a sausage by the campfire and listen to a warm guitar riff of a fellow stalker because you're role-playing as a pacifist survivor. Either way, you'll get a kick out of this mod. But the biggest curse of the zone is that it was almost dynamic. Yes, you heard me right. A-Life gave us a glimpse of brilliance of what could have been, if not for bugs, crashes, and a little bit more resources. But in Anomaly though, live events are happening in the zone constantly, all of the time. You can just stand in one place and still meet characters, monsters, hear gunshots, listen to radio chatter, trade, get quests, and soak in the atmosphere of this wonderful game. Watch out for blowouts though, they can be lethal. Main quests notwithstanding, the game can generate infinite amount of missions for you to lose yourself in. Generate infinite amount of stalkers for them to actually do scavenging and digging for artifacts, or simply robbing each other. And it also can generate infinite hordes of monsters for you and fellow stalkers to fend off. But all of that generation is finely tuned by the game's engine and customization choices that you make. The zone is truly alive now. Enjoy. S.T.A.L.K.E.R stands monolithic, pun intended, as a bastion of creativity of Eastern Bloc, where good games are scarce but they shine brighter than any other titles I've touched in my life. I would go as far as to say that S.T.A.L.K.E.R is the best game that came out of a good nation of Ukraine. It has been one of the most authentic trips into a gaming world that I could possibly recollect. The meme "such is life" in the zone has gained notoriety with lots of screenshots of people dying in horrible or silly ways in this game. This proves that people love to give tribute to S.T.A.L.K.E.R, to pay respects to this wonder. The zone leaves its mark on people. You can get a person out of the zone, but you'll never get the zone out of a person. It's that memorable and that unique. The closest game to S.T.A.L.K.E.R would be Fallout, incidentally, because both of them ultimately boil down to a frontier fantasy theme. Both games boast post-apocalyptic settings where you get to dig into the remains of civilizations that once stood proud but lost the inevitable battle with the progress. And you get to experience the hubris of humanity firsthand, and it is in the ashes of civilization we find ourselves anew. Because unlike the original Fallout, where the main threat was the army of super mutants, here your greatest enemy is a fellow human. And their AI is quite adaptive to your behavior. It is not fear levels of good, but it's adequate, which is what we need to immerse ourselves into this post-apocalyptic yarn that Strugatsky brothers once spinned some 50 years ago. But where Fallout succeeds in environmental storytelling of Capital Wasteland or Mojave Desert, both taking place in the US, S.T.A.L.K.E.R is something special to me, because it happens to take place in an environment that is spitting image of where I grew up. A small, rural place with dilapidated low-rises and a collection of abandoned log houses that looked exactly like the one I spent my summers in with my Nana and Pop-Pop. If you haven't been paying attention to the surroundings, try, because it makes the playthrough ever so satisfying. Just try to imagine how this place looked like before the disaster took place. It was a vibrant town, a scientific one at that, with lots of people who had their hopes and dreams crushed one April night. And we get to see that as if we're taking a tour in the exclusion zone ourselves, which is unreal if you think about it. A massively popular game built around a real tragedy of so many, and we didn't even think of that stuff while playing the game. Humans are indeed interesting creatures. In the end, we can acknowledge that after a tumultuous dev cycle, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2's brilliance shines through the rough cracks. But here I am playing a fan modification of the first game. What's up with that? You need to understand something. In the gaming community, S.T.A.L.K.E.R has always been like a fine wine, something that ages gracefully and becomes better with time. The same destiny will await S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, I'm sure of that, after an endless amount of crunches, updates and hotfixes. But as of now, the game seems way too raw even for me, a veteran and a lover of all things slavjank. The issues are nigh endless. Lightning is busted, AI is poor, stealth doesn't work as intended, objects glitch through walls and air, and of course, the king of them all, crashing to desktop and poor performance. Even with DLSS with a 1490, it's terrible. So let's leave the good people at GSC cooking, for the zone has something else in store for us. Anomaly can offer you dozens, hundreds, thousands of gameplay hours. The weird thing is, it doesn't feel modded at all. The only feature that seems alien is the customization menu at the start of the game. That's it. I can tweak it to be a high risk, high reward, or set to a peaceful stalker life, or intense Iron Man mode while you sweat bullets to avoid the in-game ones. Whatever you choose, Anomaly got you covered. You'll need to ask yourself only one question. Who are you? A survivor? An exterminator? A soldier? A scavenger? These settings will see that you answer honestly. And there's a reason why Anomaly is the most popular mod on ModDB. It marries two popular mods, Call of Chernobyl and Misery, and while it retains the gigantic restored map of COC and masochistic complexity of Misery, it is much more in-depth than the first and more forgiving than the second. It's true, Anomaly isn't as gritty and dark as Misery, thank God, and Call of Chernobyl was rather shallow, especially if you already knew your way around Stalker. There is absolutely more than meets the eye in the conjunction of these two large overhaul mods. This complete overhaul mode made me realize how much I was safe scumming before, but now I just let it play out, because there are so many variables in Anomaly that I let the zone dictate the rules and lead me by its miraculous hand. Certainly this isn't Dark Souls level of difficult, true, but I believe it's the right way to experience the zone. I don't die every minute like I would in Misery, and the progression feels more natural and not bloated like in other mods. My finger is no more twitching to reach F9 button. Instead, I'm having fun. I feel enjoyment from this game. I don't grind my teeth, for Christ's sake, telling myself to get good. Thanks to Anomaly, I am no longer a Terminator you had to be in Last Day or Misery. I'm a bona fide stalker. And that's a good thing. I've been playing Stalker since I was 15. I've swum through the murky ocean of its modifications through thick and thin, and I can tell you without a sliver of doubt that Anomaly is the best way to experience the zone. It is so immersive, so versatile, so sophisticated, so in-depth, so rewarding that I see no reason not to praise it. Anomaly is my designer drug of choice, and baby, it don't look like I'm going to quit anytime soon. In the end, I have to underscore the bittersweet acknowledgement that Stalker seems to be forever out of reach of its own developers. Their very ideas, their code, their enthusiasm, their lives are dwarfed by the efforts of Anomaly team. Let me tell you, they spent mighty big mileage in the zone and came back changed man. They studied it, watched it, what makes it tick, all for one gnawing idea of improving something that became so important to you, you consider it part of your own identity. But isn't that how games change us as people? I would like to think so, because it would mean that video games can have big impact on us. For me, it's easily outweighing the power of art, cinematography, and even music. Because games are an interactive medium, and Anomaly is what you make of it. Just tweak the sliders, check the boxes, your ultimate Stalker experience awaits. And I need to give a credit where it's due, and Team Anomaly is second to none. Because now I don't need to imagine how the zone might have turned out under a wing of different developers. We finally see it as it was intended in the first place, 3 games soon onto one. Full customization of all its elements, dynamic anomalies and factions, restored cut content, the works. Few games have the good fortune to become more than the sum of their parts. And rarely do we want to witness a successful grafting procedure. Yikes. But I can't help but fall in love with this Frankenstein's monster. Thanks for watching.